Welcome to the Eric Tries Too Hard podcast for a day. I guess now that we're actually putting them up on time, then I can say what day it is. So it is, I got to check, August 2nd on a Sunday morning. This is the everyone canceled on me edition of Eric Tries Too Hard. That's not true. I think a few people are about to jump on now that I'm looking at my Facebook messages. But I do have Rob Banks. How's it going, dude?
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, it's a brisk Sunday morning.
It is brisk. It's brisk,
Sunday morning.
Well, I want to thank you for getting up on time and joining the podcast on time, even though you were
West Coast. That's you gotta.
Well, that's. I think we've. I know that this conversation had been started in the '90s, but I think we've found out that the West Side is in fact the best side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Definitely. That's good.
Yeah.
I've been to the East Coast, West Coast. And West Coast is definitely the better. The Pacific is a little bit colder, but it's definitely a lot better in the summertime.
You're like an ocean connoisseur?
I've seen some oceans in my day.
Just two of them, right?
Yeah, the only two that we have. I mean, there's the Red Sea, but I mean...
You've been to the Red Sea? How does that compare?
I have never been to the Red Sea.
Oh, okay.
But I imagine it's pretty nice.
You think they're ocean hipsters? Or like body of water hipsters?
Yeah, they're called surfers.
That's fair. That's true. Now that I think about it, they really are just like... They're very protective of the places they found to surf before anybody else. They know just an insane amount of possibly they have strong opinions about subjective facts of bodies of water. All right.
Yeah.
We figured that out. Guess we can all go home.
People who ride what was it, boogie boards or whatever? The belly boards? They hate those people.
Yeah, they do. Holy shit,
they hate them with a passion.
That's like indie rock hipsters in reaction to when someone's like, "Oh, I love indie rock. I love all the greats, all the Wilco, I love the Wilco. I love all the Arcade Fires. Those are my favorite guys. The Arcade Fires.
Yeah.
and Bon Iver. Bon Iver is my favorite independent rocker.
I think it's like how comedians hate feminists.
Wait, please draw the connection for me.
I think that's the best way. I don't know.
I figured it'd be how comedians feel about like really famous comics. Or no, not comics, but not the famous comics. I should say that's how comics feel about, fans of comedy who only know like the biggest three comics in the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
I once broke a thing off with a girl because she really liked Mind of Mencia. I was like, no, we have to. We're all set here. We are all set here.
See, sometimes I feel like I don't know enough comedians to say that I'm a comedian. Because I'll be like, oh, I'm a comedian, and like, oh, who influenced you? And then like it's just this whole spectrum of other comedians, and I'm just like, well, Pryor, Bill Burr, Louis C.K., like there's such stereotypical known comedians, and then they say something like, oh, so and so. I'm just like, no, and they're like, oh, well, you definitely need to check out theirs.
See, I've always found and this is that I'll like, hey, Erwin, I'll like certain genres.
What's up, man?
And I'll like certain genres of music, and then I find that I really only like some of the most popular bands in that genre. And the more I delve into the genre, every once in a while, I'll really like a bunch of underground bands. But for the most part, don't give a shit. Like, it's not good enough. And I think comedy, a lot of times, is the same way, where the cream rises to the top. Maybe not the top that's selling out stadiums, but definitely, like, the top that ends up being headliners. Plus, I think it's almost like a winning breeds winners or whatever, because it's like if you can headline, that means you're doing a lot more time on stage, and the more time on stage you do, typically the better you get. And so it's the same with bands that I know who tour. It's like, yeah, my band doesn't have a live show as good as a band that plays 200 times a year. Like, that doesn't mean the potential's not there. It just means that that's what they do. They have the ability to do that, and so they get a lot better at doing it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm like such a smaller like proportion because it's like you like certain bands and certain genres where it's like they're popular where I'll just like one song.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's true. I totally see that. I've got like a handful of bands I like their whole catalog, and then I've got a shit ton of bands who I like one record, and then countless bands who I like one or two songs.
Right.
Yeah, Erwin, I don't know if we've ever talked music with you. What's your music taste like?
Well, when I was growing up, I used to be into the whole rap R&B style, like 90s music, like Boyz II Men, Casey and JoJo.
Casey and JoJo. Yeah.
And then
Casey
then R. Kelly started peeing on girls, and it kind of like changed. It killed R&B. I don't know.
More like R&P, am I right? Sorry, keep going.
R.P. Music for me is not the same no more, man. Music.
Since R. Kelly peed on a girl.
Like, I don't know. I hear, like, I went to do some background acting, and I hear people talking about Drake and Meek Mill, and I can't get into it no more. I can't get into the whole hip hop talk and all that music talk. I can't get into it like I used to before. I don't know why.
What do you usually listen to, Erwin?
Like, the radio's not the same. If I
Yeah.
turn on the radio, it's always like Ariana Grande or like.
Yeah, it sucks now.
Yeah, so it's like before I think I could turn on the radio and get into music, but not anymore. I think that now is just like I listen to a lot of oldies and a lot of like
Nas is pretty good.
K Earth 101 or some shit like that.
Fucking with your LA station.
That Wiz Khalifa song too much. That sad one with Paul Walker.
Oh yeah,
That
that
one's
sad
like,
one with Paul Walker.
Wait, Paul Walker was on the track?
well,
it was a dedication.
We kind of
song
went
for him.
off the track, but what?
the inspiration.
That track was fire.
Dude, oh my. There are so many phrases, fire being one of them and squad being another, that are getting very popular. And I remember, like, especially with squad, I remember back in, like late 90s, maybe early 2000s, as like almost practically a little kid, like junior high school, I was thinking about, I'd listen to Busta Rhymes, and I'd be like, stop trying to make squad happen. Squad's never going to happen. Because that's all he ever talked about was his squad. He called it his squidod sometimes. That was his version of Izzle, I guess. But he was trying so hard to make squad the word for crew, and he must be, I was going to say rolling in his grave, but I'm pretty sure he's alive. He must be thrilled that squad is now like the universal term for a group of human beings.
That sucks because
now
he's not even known. Now people think he's retired. Yeah. It's like you have to retire before your shit gets good and shit, you know?
What was it, dude?
Yeah.
You could use that term for your family, Eric. You'd like squad out. You can go out to dinner.
My squad, holy shit, yeah.
Bring your squad together.
Dude, I just want to know what happened to all of what's his name, all of Busta Rhymes. I want to know what happened to the Flip Mode Squad. I want to know what happened to Rampage and
died, dude.
And Spliff Star and who the fuck else? Who else was part of Flip Mode?
It's like you said. It's like you said. The cream rises to the top, and if Busta ain't on the top, none of those who's are.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh man. Okay, so I remember one time they crashed the VMAs wearing moccasins, or what? What am I saying? Not moccasins. Wearing mariachi outfits. Fucking Flip Mode Squad. All right. So I don't know if I told you guys this. You guys have been away for a few weeks. So the Eric Tries Too Hard podcast is now the Eric Tries Too Hard podcast network, and now we have about 3. Sorry, I thought Erwin's eyes rolled right out of his head. We have about 3 episodes of varying podcasts that go up every week. Starting in the fall, we'll have 5. and then we'll see where it goes from there.
You got
What's
you
up?
got a squad now.
We got a squad. We got a whole squad. It's mostly me, but we got a whole squad helping me out. Especially like behind the scenes stuff, because we now have a real website that we can actually promote, which is just erictriestoohard.com. None of this WordPress blog shit. Yeah. So anyway, if any budding podcasters want to jump on, please do. We'll probably have some spots open for stuff in the fall. Anyway, so now that we're a network, we got to be kind of clean cut. We're doing this for real. Be more serious. We gotta So anyway,
Cool.
no, I'm just kidding. We don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. So let's talk about sexism. No, let's actually one thing I wanted to talk about. One thing I wanted to talk about though, and this kind of goes with what Rob and I were saying before Erwin joined. We were saying how we're making fun of hipsters and did a whole riff about surfers being hipsters of the sea, and I had mentioned how it must get frustrating for comics to hear people say that they love comedy, but only be able to name or listen to a few of like the biggest comedians in the world. And so like I was thinking about seeing a lot of criticism recently for Amy Schumer, and not for some like tongue-in-cheek racial joke that she made years ago. Not for that. I don't mean like any of that. I'm just talking about the people who don't really know that much about comedy, who will make these blog posts or I don't know, whatever it is, and talk about how, all Amy Schumer does is talk about how she likes sex, and therefore everybody laughs because she's a woman and says she likes sex, and ha 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 ha, and that's all she's about. And it was frustrating to me just knowing like her history in comedy and watching her come up in various forms over the last, whatever, like 7 or 8 years that I've been aware of her at least, and then to have people boil into that entire career, and I know that they do that to every comedian, but they boil that entire career down to, all she does is get on stage and say that she likes sex, and she's a slut, and everybody laughs and applauds, and it's the greatest thing in the world. But like, I mean, I was just hearing about how they had the New York premiere of Trainwreck, and she gave invites to everyone involved in the Comedy Cellar, to the wait staff, the hostesses, like management, booker, anybody who had anything to do with the Comedy Cellar. She got in on that premiere, that's not a normal thing to do. And I think, and like even like comics, like very like much smaller comics who weren't affiliated with the movie, but because they're part of that Comedy Cellar like family or whatever. Yeah, squad. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Squad. And but that's not a normal thing to do, and that it just kind of adds to like to her resume of showing how she's always been very connected with the comedy community, and how it's a lot bigger than just one person going on stage and making the same joke over and over again. So my question to you guys is, did you guys see Trainwreck?
I did.
No.
I didn't. That was just a stupid question. But what do you guys think about that? Do you feel that happens with her and with other comics? Do you think it's justified, or do you not give a shit?
I mean, I read the report on what the.
You read the report.
on what the girl said about her stand-up being racist, and that she hasn't evolved her stand-up. I really agree to a small percentage that she hasn't evolved her stand-up. Her stand-up is mostly about fat girls getting dick. And
that's the next special.
And I mean, like, and most of her jokes are racist jokes. I mean, that's her comedy. I'm not really impressed by it, but that is her comedy. I wouldn't be so offended by it because that's her style. But
you're not mad. You're just disappointed.
I'm disappointed in the fact that, because it's like all her stuff is about feminism, and it's just great. But I think that we're beyond that now. Like, there's more other topics that are really more serious than a woman not being able to like get the same rights as a man. Like, I think that's beyond that now. Like I think we're beyond that in society. That there's more issues than that now. Like, you guys could suck as much dick as you want. Like, like we won't stop you. Guys are not gonna stop you. Like you guys could do whatever you want. Let's just talk about.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna protest. Like no more dick sucking.
No more dick sucking for women. Like we don't want that. Like we want to talk.
Yeah. Or when you'd be the scab at that picket, you just be like, hey, I don't really mind getting the D wet a little bit. Not like bad. Just cross that picket line.
No, just put the tip of your tongue. That's the tip of the tongue. It's too much. It's too much. No, I mean, I do like Amy Schumer. Like, I do like her roast, because in roast you could say all the racist shit you could want. But other than her roasting people, I'm not really a fan of hers. But I don't agree on people criticizing comedy if you don't know it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going at. Because I mean, you could make the same thing about people do the same thing to Kevin Hart. They did the same thing to Dane Cook. I'm sure that if the internet was around when, Carlin was just breaking or Pryor was just breaking, they do the same. Like, what do you think they'd say about like Carlin or Pryor if you had these bloggers like back then?
I just saw a documentary on Pryor yesterday on I must admit to stand up or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that when he came out, they used to talk just as bad about him than they did about any other comedian. It's just, what do you do after they talk bad about you? Like,
yeah.
It took him years to find his act, because he was a copycat before. He
had an act before
he had a Cosby act
that he was known for. You know what I mean? Like, he had like a clean version. He was a clean cut wearing a suit. But I mean, back to the Amy Schumer thing. I think it goes back to what I said before, just the fact that we're bored as a society, so we like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't really want to find something wrong, so we have something to talk about.
Society has too much. Everybody has a microphone, and everybody wants to speak into it.
We have everything. You know what I mean? Like,
the whole squad has a microphone.
That's what I'm saying.
The whole squad.
Well, it's like anytime you see usually 90s like hip hop stuff, there's like 8 hype men. Everyone has a goddamn microphone. It's like, that's not necessary. Like, I get it, you don't have a band, but yeah, Facebook. Facebook is a fucking like Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound show in 1993. That's what Facebook is right now.
Yo. Everybody just everybody just starts jumping in and rapping, and nobody really has nothing to say.
The final two words of every line is 10 times louder than everything else.
But I think that everybody thinks that their opinion matters for whatever reason. Like, their thought really matters. Like, there was this guy that is a soccer fan, and he was on Twitter tweeting the Dutch team every single day that it wasn't a penalty. It wasn't a penalty. Every single day until Mexico won the Gold Cup, and Mexico had this controversy of penalties, and the Dutch team wrote back to him saying it was a penalty. I'm like, where is society going to? Like, 10 years, 20 years ago, that would never happen. You would never hear some shit like that.
I don't mind so much that everyone thinks they have an opinion or wants to voice whatever. What pisses me off is when you do that, but you don't actually contribute in any way. It's like if you're I have a whole. It's weird to say because I write for a website that criticizes music and has reviews of music, but I feel like if you don't actually do the art form or really, really know it from, like, you could convince someone that you do that art form, whether it's comedy or music or whatever, you should just shut the fuck up if you have an issue with something. If you think something's great, then yeah, go for it. Tell the world. But if you're going to criticize something, you just shut your mouth if you don't know it to that level. If you don't know what goes into making it, if all you know it as a consumer, you need to just shut your mouth because you don't know what you're talking about. And that pisses me off greatly. But if you want to come out and actually create something, or create something and also criticize other things, great. But if you're not putting anything out there, then you can just shut your mouth. That's kind of how I feel about it.
See, that's
I don't
actually,
know.
what I was saying about how comedians hate feminists.
Yeah. See, I asked him to draw the connection because I was like, I could see it, but I kind of need you to lead me to the water. But then you say it, and Erwin, knowing laugh, strong knowing laugh. I mean, I assume that's because this Tumblr wave of feminism is very much like these are the topics you're not allowed to talk about. Is that kind of how it is?
I mean, I'm just blaming feminists right now because I don't know, like, who makes these comments who, like saying about, like, they don't really know what they don't have a background to know what they're exactly talking about, but yet they have the balls to criticize, like, they're a professional in it,
Yeah. Let's say
I just blame feminists in my life.
I think that that's been going on for years. It's just now it's more enhanced because there's blogs, there's HuffPost, there's all these online things that people could tap into real quick, and they could actually write themselves stuff. Like before, you didn't have that option, so it's like it just seems like it's just so enhanced. But it's always been like that. Like there's always been this 5'3" guy talking about how LeBron James didn't dunk right. Like when he like there's always this there's always this critic that's never been able to do certain things will talk bad about the person that can. It's like going back to high school. Like the people that are doing it are gonna get talked about the people that aren't. And that's the way that society works. If you're doing something right, somebody's going to talk shit about you. And be glad that somebody is, because that means you're doing something right. If Amy Schumer wasn't this big, nobody would even mention her. 2-3 years ago, I didn't even know who she was.
Yeah,
I did, but like,
you may have. A lot of people did. Well, that's kind of what my point was. It was that you end up with these people who are like, this comedian appeared famous with a fully formed act out of nowhere, as far as you're concerned. You don't know what went into it. You don't know their background, but you still feel like, I already know everything about this, and I have the authority to judge it. Now, that's kind of how I feel that music journalism or comedy journal, whatever it is, should have the same journalistic integrity and research and background as actual journalism. I get that the subject matter isn't as serious as world events, but it is kind of culture shaping in a way. So maybe you could make an argument that at some levels it is pretty important. But I think you should, if you're going to do any kind of journalism, even if it's just a review of a record or a comedy album, that you should have that same kind of, like, you should go, I need to really look into this. I watched something for an hour. I might not be qualified to talk about this person as if I know their entire history. So shut the fuck up unless you do it. That's what it is. Unless you do the art form or you actually do the research, you can just shut your fucking mouth. I do not like critics at all. Yeah. Mostly because you'd think I'd had bad reviews of things of mine in the past. I haven't. I've just been ignored over and over and over again.
Somebody talk bad about me.
Or just talk about me at all. Come on. I gotta do everything myself.
The truth comes out, Eric. You just an attention whore. You just as long as you slap me, just hit me.
Yeah, just exactly. I will take slaps in the form of physical affection.
Physical.
All right, sweet. Here is Morgan. Hey, Morgan, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Not too much. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Well, thank you for joining us. I fucked up and meant we are live, as you can probably see. I definitely thought I sent you this link, but that's my bad. But I'm glad you're here. So, Morgan, before we dive back into the conversation, you were interviewed by Brad for the podcast this past week.
It was Wednesday. Yeah, this Wednesday.
How'd he do?
Pretty good.
All right. Okay. I watched it. It sounded great. But I wanted to get your perspective on it so I could give my friend some shit if you had anything bad to say.
It's all good. Hang on just a second. I'm being summoned.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing the podcast.
Classic.
That's a good, fast answer. Like, I'm being summoned. Yeah, I'm doing the podcast. This is done. You should be like me. Tell my whole family not to bug with me and shit. Not to fuck with me for an hour.
I do, but you know that doesn't mean they're gonna listen.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, so
they listen to me. I'm like
all right, Erwin,
stalling
there's a difference between your family and I imagine Morgan. Morgan, how old are you?
20.
So you were in college, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
And
are
are you at home with your family right now?
Yep, pretty much.
Fun. That's great. I loved those summers where you're a legal adult who can do whatever you want, and then you still have to live with your parents. That is
not too much. Can't drink though, so.
That's true. That's true.
But still,
you can smoke weed.
Yeah, you can.
Oh my God, Erwin! Off screen. I swear to God. I swear to God.
No,
yeah,
man.
dude. Off screen.
They say
I don't have it. It was a cigarette.
All right, I'm going to take the time to remind everyone that Erwin is in Los Angeles, California, with a prescription card.
And I have a broken ankle. It's nothing to play with.
Hey,
would you virtually pass that over?
Yeah, that's.
There you go.
That's nice. All right, so
I got glaucoma.
Erwin, all you have is Glocks. Don't lie.
Oh.
So what we were talking about.
Put you in a coma.
We were talking. Nice. All right, sweet.
Let me bring my squad. Dog.
Yeah. We have. Yeah, Morgan. While you were gone, we were marveling at how Busta Rhymes tried for like a decade to get squad to replace the word group, and somehow has succeeded like 15 years after he stopped mattering.
Way back. It's like how everybody was worried about Y2K for 2000, and then everybody was worried about 2012.
yeah.
All that fear and worry or all that effort just kind of transcends what you're trying to do. You say, all right, whatever. And then after you stop trying, it works.
Which is ironic because Busta Rhymes was very concerned with Y2K. If anyone remembers his early albums, they were all about how the world is ending at Y2K.
I think everybody's just too worried about this whole the world is ending thing. I mean, like, I love how on one hand you got people that are like, oh my God, the world is going to shit. You got all these people doing all these crazy things, and then they go back at home and just are like infatuated with stuff like Walking Dead, Planet of the Apes, all this post-apocalyptic stuff. Like half the movies in theaters right now are like post-apocalyptic, or you have stuff like Mad Max and Terminator or whatnot.
Morgan, how did you do a pitch perfect impersonation of my dad just then? That was incredible, uncanny.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding. No, My dad's a famous jazz musician. He talks. He always calls everyone cool cats and I don't know.
Daddy,
I don't know enough about jazz. Daddy-o, thank you. Yeah.
He's got like the soul patch right here.
I had that.
It's like a Hitler mustache for your chin, or like for your mouth.
I like that one. That was a good one.
So,
I'm writing that down, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Give me a minute. So, right before you joined, Morgan, we were talking about, a couple things. Music critics and comedy critics not knowing shit about the art and then feeling like they can bash somebody. We were also talking about, Rob had mentioned, and Erwin agreed, a lot of this Tumblr wave feminism that also gives topics that are, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about this, I know everything on the subject, and therefore, and I wanted to bring up for you guys an old, a Fox News interview. There was the feminist spokesperson, the Fox News person, and then the person discussing the non-feminism view was Patrice O'Neill, my favorite comic, and he had this, he had this point. What's up, Rob?
Why would he do that? I wonder if he should have known.
Fox News loved him because he was kind of conservative on certain things, but when it came to comedy, he was just hard. Like he kept saying the phrase, which I think turned the argument for him, which was, "I'm speaking for funny. None of you are speaking for funny right now, but the conversation is topics of what comedians can talk about. So I'm the authority on funny." That's the point. I thought that made a really good point about, like, this is a different thing than what you're all talking about. So don't bring that shit into funny.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to derail. I think the thing is when comedians get involved with serious issues. I mean, look at Jon Stewart and the new guy who runs the Nightly Show. I don't know his name. He does a great job. I should.
Trevor Noah?
Yeah, Trevor
Well, no,
Noah.
Larry. Oh, okay. I thought you.
The thing is, whenever they have discussions, they make some of the most insightful points that I probably have heard just on anything that of anybody say. But the thing is, they're doing it to laugh. So maybe they're not. Maybe they're trying to point out something that we may or may not see, or we just don't care about until we make a joke about it. Because if you really want people to get riled up about something, I hate to say it, make a joke about it, because then people go, hey, that's no laughing matter. Why aren't you taking it seriously? Then they'll take it seriously. It's weird the way it works.
I think that comedy, what people forget about anything that is America, is freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Comedy in its own right was a way for people to talk about issues without really talking about them and getting into trouble in talking about them. And that person that secretly agreed with you goes like, yeah, he's right. But
furthers the discussion in a way that you couldn't otherwise.
Yeah, like nowadays, since I think that everybody realizes that we all have an opinion, we all have something to talk about and something to say. I think that it changes it. Like everybody's funny now. Everybody's funny. Everybody is comedic. Everybody has a joke to say. Like, don't tell me, if you're a comedian, do not tell me that you don't go to somebody and tell them, oh, I do stand-up comedy, and do not tell me that they don't want to tell you a joke they know, or they like want to judge you because
that's everybody
asks you to tell them a joke.
Or tell them a joke because they want to criticize your joke. Oh, how funny are you? Yeah. You know, because everybody.
Oh, what do you do? I'm an accountant. Balance my taxes now.
Yeah, they won't tell you that. But like, if you do comedy or acting or anything like that, they want to prove you wrong. Like, if you could dunk a basketball, they'll buy you a fucking court and a basketball and shoes and see, like, do it. You know, but
dude, I'm gonna start carrying around scripts with me, and anytime I meet someone who says they're an actor, I'm like, act this scene out. Do it. Go for it.
I'll read for you. No, don't look at me. I can't assess how you are in the scene if I feel like I'm in the scene with you. Focus above my head or something like that. This is stuff you learn in acting school.
We'll look at they're a plumber later, and we'll figure it out.
If they're a plumber, you know, like, it's true.
You want them to speak your training, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that nobody really talks about the real issues that are really going on because everybody is like so hypersensitive. Stop being hypersensitive, and we'll talk about real issues because there's real shit going on, and no comedian wants to touch it because they're scared now.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
I think go for it.
No, I'm sorry. This is like, I don't want to say it's the trump card, but since I'm in college right now, right? I already mentioned that. And I try to do open mics wherever I can. You know, I like to look at it as the unpaid internship of comedy when you first start out. You just do open mics wherever you can, kind of get your name out there, say you've done it a few times, get a little bit better. I have like a whole, notepad of stuff that I write. So I kind of keep the ideas fresh in my head. But at college, here, the stuff you can do at open mics and bars, you can get away with a lot. You can say a lot, and even because most of the time they're not even full all the way. But at school, people they like restrict speech in ways the federal government couldn't even dream.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things you can't say. There's certain T-shirts you can't wear. Like for instance, I remember I was wearing a T-shirt and it had like a starving African kid on it or whatever, just a malnourished kid, like a picture or whatever, and it said the words "ribbed for her pleasure."
Jesus Christ! Shirt Kanye West concert?
No. I was just wearing it out. I wasn't on stage. I was wearing it out. I was walking to like the cafeteria and
I'll wear this home. I want to put this on immediately. What? Yeah. No, where did you get that? I'm sorry to cut you off. I have to know where you got that.
Yeah,
That's
I got it on a website called T-Shirt Hell.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, please continue. That's
right. That would be a shirt that comes from hell, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. No, but and they're really like they keep you cool too. They're made of a certain material. It's nice. But that's beside the point.
Did the kid in the shirt get his own shirt like how Tom's has that exchange program?
No. What happened is it's not an actual kid. It's just a cartoon. It's like a cartoon.
Well, that makes it a little bit better. That was, by the way, real quick, my wife returned a pair of Toms, and the first thought that came to my head is, "Did you take one from the African kid too? That's fucked up." Anyway, sorry.
I know. What if they
That's
want
like,
to actually?
what if they did that? What if like, hey, give me back the shoe? It's like that'd be fucked up. You know, you would never catch that kid.
Right.
No, of course.
You know he's fast as hell. You would not
And he's
catch
got new
that
shoes.
kid.
He's
He
got new
runs
shoes
for
for the first
that
time.
kid runs
Got
for a
new
living,
wheels.
not like for money. I mean, living as in I mean runs for a living as in he doesn't
Like-
run for a living to make
Like
money.
he has
runs
to be alive.
to stay alive. Yeah, he runs to stay alive. That's what we mean by a living.
Oh my god.
So anyway,
All
back
right.
to the t-shirt. Back to the
Yeah,
t-shirt.
that was on that shirt.
This is a quick this is just a quick wrap up of a really messed up story. So I was walking back and this one girl, I was an RA at the time. I'm not anymore, but I was at the time. And she was one of my residents and I was in class. She was like, "Hey, that shirt's kind of offensive." You know, I was like, "Well, that's fine. You know, I mean, it's whatever. You got a right to think what you want to think. I mean, I got a right to wear what I want to wear." So I went back to my room and I come back later and I see this note on my door with like the school's dress code attached to, or not dress code, but like the school's like policy or whatever, the handbook. She took an entire 2 pages from the handbook, ripped them out, taped them on my door with a bigger note that said, "Never ever wear this shirt again." And I was like, okay, that's really passive aggressive. And
Taylor
That's
Swift already?
a feminist for you.
No. But the thing is, I confronted her and I was like, "Hey, what was that all about?" I literally went back to my room to change the shirt that you mentioned at me about. I went back to my room to do that. I'm not gonna do it out of or whatever. So and then she's like, "Yeah, that's offensive." I was like, "Okay, what about it is offensive?" It's like if you go to court, somebody accuses you for a crime. I think you have every right to know who accused you. So in this sense, if somebody's saying something's offensive to you, I think you should have the right to know, well, one, who said it and why they think it's offensive. If I have to go back and change what I'm doing, can I at least know why I'm doing it or what the reason for it is? Maybe she, works with Haitian kids that are starving to death or something. I didn't know, but the reason she was offended was because it had the words "ribbed for her pleasure." Not the starving kid.
What?
No, hang on. Hang on. We're gonna get to this later. Not the fact that there was a kid dying not the fact that it's a kid. Not the fact that you see a kid who's malnourished to the point where he has a beer gut. Like you're so hungry that your stomach is eating itself. You're mad because the shirt is advocating safe sex, ribbed for her pleasure. That's what you were mad about. And at that point, I was like, no, I put the shirt right back on. It turned into a judicial issue that really went nowhere because, like I said, it's a T-shirt. And they were like, look, you got exams and shit to study for. We're not worried about a fucking T-shirt. So, but I was thinking, if you're going to be offended, can you at least be, like, offended for the right reason?
Yeah.
Like, does that not make sense?
No, that does. It's that's not even offensive though. Like that part of it.
Yeah.
Does she really think that your shirt is advertising that you're going to shove a starving child into someone's vagina?
I don't know. Like a reverse crowning situation? I have no idea. What? You can't say reverse crowning?
No, reverse. Well, you could say it. It's not gonna. It's gonna elicit an image in my head that's gonna make me go. But like.
The fact that the kid might have AIDS already, now you got to wrap him in a body-sized condom.
Is that how that works?
Maybe, I don't know.
Mike, put in some headphones.
All right, headphones.
Echo.
I always forget about the headphones. 1 second.
Damn.
What the hell? Is Mike camping? Oh, okay, cool.
You are now entering the Twilight Zone.
Now entering the ring, weighing 375 pounds. Uh-oh.
Let's get ready to rumble. Oh,
hey, Mike, how's it going?
I'm all right. Got a little sick last night, so that's why I overslept.
Oh, there you go. Turn the lights back. Yeah, we need your your best Emperor Palpatine. If you turn the lights up.
Yeah.
That's not my best, but it'll have to do.
So we were just talking about taking starving African children, using them as condoms, and putting them in vaginas.
No, I said reverse crowning. I said reverse crowning.
Oh, that's right. That's the phrase.
It's like
I feel like that subject has been done to death.
Jesus,
All right.
like baptized by the.
I don't really like doing hack subjects, you know.
Yeah, you know that's. Listen, I'm new to the game. I'm just trying to form a squad here and get all my shit together. So
I feel like so much comedy is just based around like Joseph Campbell archetypes of children being used as condoms.
Jesus Christ. So we were also talking about the end of the Daily Show, kind of briefly. We were talking about making a point with humor, and since the show's wrapping up, I wanted to know for any of you guys, we'll start with Rob, and anybody else can jump in if they have thoughts. Did any of you guys watch the Daily Show, and like, if so, what did it mean to you during its run?
I never watched. I never watched it like religiously, but I mean, I'd watched it a few times. I always thought it was pretty funny. Jon Stewart did a fantastic job on it.
Yeah.
Anybody else have? Before I jump in and talk for a fucking year, have anybody else?
Never saw Trevor Noah though.
Like I got.
I raised my hand and everything.
All I gotta say about John. No,
Jesus Christ, Erwin, compose yourself.
And the conversation.
Yeah,
it's like it's not about raising your hand. It's who was first in the podcast.
Listen, we can talk about.
Then it was you.
We can talk about
and then
racism all day. Sorry, racing. I always get those two confused. All right. So Morgan, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Rob. I was saying that I didn't watch it religiously either, but there was a joke I made, and I said, you know, it's a crazy world we live in. I watch Fox News for comedy and Comedy Central for news.
Yeah.
Where that was really, I didn't watch CNN, I didn't watch Fox News, I didn't watch BBC. That was my news station where I went to watch, because, and even if there were like some jokes thrown in, that was the closest we really got to an unbiased or like, even if it was biased, it's saying, look, this is how we really should do it. This is how it should, and not even just for the political stuff. The political stuff, I could take it or leave it. But he makes points about like saying, hey, this guy's a hypocrite right here. Or, how are you going to do this when you can't even do that? Or
that's the media's supposed to be a checks and balances system for politics, for business, for whatever. That was kind of the purpose of the media, and the fact that whether you're saying like, well, he's not showing this person's hypocrisies, even though you could argue their goal was comedy. And there's comedy and hypocrisy. I figured they went where I guess there was the most to eat. Whatever plate had the most to eat off of is where they went.
Yeah. Well, you had a gourmet with and Stephen Colbert even his was more of a political satire than anything. That was the most sarcastic show in the world, because the whole time he's posing as a conservative when actually I think Stephen Colbert actually a pretty liberal dude.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the
Wait,
so,
what?
Okay, so, yeah, how
right?
You remind me of so many of my conservative like cousins who are just like, oh, you know what? I don't like Daily Show. It's too liberal. But that Colbert knows what he's talking about.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Are there people who really don't know that he's in character?
There are. None of them are blood related to me, but there are plenty of people I've met over time. I've known a lot of conservatives. I always try to
just like people that are kind of casually acquainted with the show, haven't really watched much of it, I guess.
Which is kind of crazy when you see some of the things he'll say and be like, it's kind of like what Erwin was saying about, oh yeah, like somebody will agree with you about something, but they'll never want to say it out loud, but then you make a joke about it, and they're like, yeah, I can laugh at that because I agree. That's kind of how some conservatives are with Colbert. Well, I've been watching Daily Show since 9/11. That was probably the thing that got me into politics in general. And
9/11, which year?
What a thing to be in politics. 2,000 people died. Guess who's
every year.
This shit.
Oh man. No, keep hitting me with it. Go for it.
You keep renewing your membership to politics every 9/11.
Yeah, that was a bad day to get into it. But
your subscription reaches ground zero every year.
That'd be funny if you just decided to get into politics that day, and then that happens.
It's like
and then nobody believes you that you were going to get into politics anyway.
It's like when you join the police force the day there's like this crazy hostage riot situation thing.
Oh, you mean Baltimore?
Yeah, exactly. It's hell of a day to join.
Liking the Grateful Dead as soon as Jerry Garcia dies.
Well,
And
no,
everybody's
Oh.
like, no, you just like him because Jerry died. And you're like, no, I was gonna get into him anyway.
I finally felt
Well,
appreciative.
Planes are crashing into buildings. Guess I should start paying attention to who's president now.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Like you got
happened.
that's like getting a pilot's license, and then like the day after that happens, there's like, I don't really want this now.
We can't land in buildings.
Kid, I was trying to go sideways in between them. It didn't work.
I was trying to do a man on wire situation with
It's
with
like-
Quinn.
Eric, where were you in the
Good
building?
thing that didn't happen that day.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. You know what? Well, so that got me into politics and kind of paying attention. I'm like, oh shit, this may affect me on my day-to-day. Like the things that go on in the world may affect me as a 14-year-old in Ellicott City, Maryland. Totally. But like, so I started watching a few weeks later when Daily Show went back on the air. I started like that was one of the many things. I've always been obsessed with comedy since I was a little kid. So I was like, and even Daily Show. I used to watch Craig Kilborn on the Daily Show reruns before I went to camp in elementary school, and I'd watch the headlines.
Yeah.
And so I started watching that as well, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And but I watched it maybe like some years in college. I didn't just because I had other shit going on. But for the majority of my, teenage to adult life, I've watched Daily Show as often as I possibly can. Some years, every single episode, and so that it's ending. It's meant different things to me over the years, but it's just been this awakening to this is the greatest thing that's ever existed in the history of mankind to. This is fine, whatever, politics are kind of stupid and now I'm bitter, to like, I don't know, to now whatever it is to me now, which is just kind of like, it's changed and my politics have changed and my view on politics and how I should express my politics have changed, but the show's always kind of like stayed with me in one way or another. And even if by the end it just became, to me, at this point, like entertainment, to the point where like they show me some hypocrisy in whatever business, government, Fox News, and I'm no longer shocked. I'm just like, well, yeah, what did you think was going to happen? It's the same shit we've been talking about for forever. But now that it's ending, like I'm not sure exactly how to feel. It's kind of like that band that was like the greatest thing to you growing up. And then they put out a couple of crappy albums, and you stopped seeing them. You stopped hero worshiping. But by the end, you're just like, well, that was a big part of my life. So I don't know exactly. I don't know how to feel. How should I feel?
It's like how I felt about Pixar until they did Cars. That's really
And you're young enough for that to be accurate.
It's how I thought about Wendy's until they came out with the Baconator. I was like,
dude,
you know what? This just isn't cool anymore.
Baconator was like that band that turned to shit, and then they put out an amazing record, way down the line, and you're just like, no, now I'm a fan again. I'm a fucking fan. I hope they
that
put it
band.
No, it's not even an
What
album.
band
It's
has
like-
ever done that?
No, it's not even an album. It's a single that did it. It's like that one single that the album sucks, but there's one song on there that you buy the album for and say, you know what? You should have just really just made the single the entire album. Like everything else is just
We
weak.
should have just made a 40-minute long single.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of artists and songwriters do. They like, and especially even like to the most mainstream pop that you'll hear 4 times on the radio in an hour, to like old 80s classics and whatnot, where it's like the whole album kind of sucks, but there's 2 or 3 singles on there that are okay. and
It
they're
seemed
good.
like when a band would make an album, maybe it's changed now, but like it used to be like they would repeatedly write the same song until they got it right, and then release that right one as a single, and then the rest of the album was just like attempts at trying to get that,
Yeah.
because like
They all
bands
sound
would
the
always
same.
release out like the whole album would sound the same. I always wondered like why don't they make like some songs like this and other songs different. Then I realized they're just trying to write the single over and over and over until they get it right.
And there's a
But, this
few
has
exceptions.
but
to
let's
the
go
rule.
back to Eric and the Daily Show. I feel bad now.
No.
Wait, here, this is what I've been kind of thinking about, is if to way back to the Jon Stewart and 9/11 thing. I wonder if, Eric, you might not have been the only one who just started instantly just to watch these shows on Comedy Central. So I wonder if, Jon Stewart had a moment with his producer where like, wow, thanks to 9/11, we have such great ratings now.
We have great. Oh my god.
We
That's-
can
no,
add
would you?
more stuff to this.
I
Dude,
like
that's
the-
a whole nother can of worms with media and tragedy. And that
Oh,
it makes
yeah.
me wonder, like, all right, guys, another school shooting. We're gonna make some cash this week.
Yeah.
Like, is that the attitude they have? But
Yeah,
again,
I don't know, I mean,
of course. At some
Change
level,
the top.
yes. There's
Or
if you
back
go
in
up the
business.
chain, eventually it gets to yes. Like,
dude,
yeah.
I would totally love to have. I'm like super critical of media these days, and like it's kind of the thing that I'm fierily passionate about. But I don't want to. Eric, please explain more your.
I'm good. This is hey. Listen,
Could I
just
say
because my name's
something?
on doesn't mean it's about me.
Could I say something
of course
about
you
Jon Stewart?
Yeah, that you hate him and every other comedian in the world.
No, actually, I respect the old generation of comedians, man, and I think that there's a turnover right now. Jay Leno, David Letterman. I like the fact that Jon Stewart is leaving on top, and
Yeah.
nobody's really after he renewed his contract, nobody's really telling him when to go. Like I don't want it no more. He's taking off, and
Just leave on a good note.
he's giving it a good note. He probably doesn't want to like end up saying something that people are gonna like want his head over. Like cut his head off because he said this. And it'll probably happen because he's from the old generation that they were more opinionated, and he's really political. Like he really has his opinions, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the main reasons he's leaving. And he has a family to think about. And Trevor Noah doesn't have none of that. Like Trevor Noah needs to put a name out there. He comes from a place in South Africa where a lot of racial tension, a lot of political stuff goes on. And if you follow his comedy, I think that he is the right guy for his job. Like he is political himself. Like he says a lot of racial stuff that is borderline, and I think that I'm looking forward to hearing some of his stuff. It's like,
yeah, and I think it'll be very meaningful. And I mean, like you said, he comes from somewhere that has a lot of free toms, a lot of incorrect Super Bowl winner T-shirts. By the way, that's like your sign for if you're from a real fucking I don't know, hard ass place to exist. If you think that the Seahawks won last year, then you've got that should be your test to see if you ever because I know there are a lot of refugees. I think if refugees come to the border of your country and you ask them who won the Super Bowl last year and they say the Seahawks, you should just let them in. Like they've earned it. Let them in.
Yeah. If you're just now getting Too Fast, Too Furious on DVD.
Not Blu-ray pack.
You might be in South Africa. If somebody asks you if you want a part-time job and you think they say apartheid job, you might be.
Where?
If you eat a Hot Pocket cold.
The United
office.
States would send him a shitty movie.
If a coffee-flavored Pop-Tart is like tiramisu to you, you might...
And then the whole crowd is just like teaming. Say it! Say it! By the way, Bill Engvall could do that joke and still maintain his fan base, which is that's not Bill Engvall. That's what's his name? Who's that guy?
Foxworthy?
Jeff Foxworthy. Thank you.
No, there's another one. I'm trying to think. God damn it! It was another. Fuck. God, if you can't play video games right now because the Nintendo 64 is a little pricey. Yeah.
It feels like, hold on, I don't want to diminish like struggling nations' difficulties, but a lot of these problems sound like problems I had when I was like 12.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah.
Exactly.
If you want to machete your neighbor because their nose is wider than yours,
That's Israel.
Jesus. You guys are playing on some very specific and unfounded stereotypes.
yeah, that's the Rwandans.
Yeah, don't you?
All right, so as I mentioned earlier to Rob and Erwin, now that Eric Tries to Art is more than a podcast, it's a network that we got to clean things up. It's a squad, sorry. It's a podcast squad. We got to clean things up. We got to be real clean cut. So anyway, we're talking about Holocaust denying.
So I need to put a shirt on.
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Real clean cut.
Good way to bring up a topic that you want to keep it clean. Like just bring up
sorry.
Hitler. All right,
Well, Well, at least
Hey,
I know
you're
you're all
about to start a shower, so I'm sure you can just hop in with him.
I'm just loving how you said, we got to clean up our act. Let's talk about denying the Holocaust. Like, wait, what?
Oh, no. Well, that was actually...
Well, I think that was intentional. I don't think he was...
Thank you, Mike. But I'm going to let it... Hey,
You're the guy that thought Stephen Colbert was real, didn't you?
I'm just saying, he's got some good ideas. I'm just saying, whenever I talk about my political beliefs, I talk real quiet. No. Okay, so did anybody, speaking of, like, wrapping up Daily Show stuff, did anybody, I guess it feels like I always talk about Mark Maron's podcast, because that's where every comedian who, like, brings up stuff I want to talk about brings it up on. The episode he did with Wyatt Cenac, who mentioned some altercations with Jon Stewart. Did anybody hear about this? You read about this?
Wait, say what?
So I guess while Wyatt Cenac was at the Daily Show, he kind of came in with the I idolize Jon Stewart. He's kind of like a father to me, and Wyatt put it on himself. Like I kind of seek that out from a lot of people, like trying to find that parental role. But Jon Stewart always was like treated his staff like, no, you just work here. Like this is just a business. This is a job. And I guess they had an issue where Jon Stewart wanted to do, I forget the exact joke, but the joke was basically he had made a joke that was racial in nature, and Fox News called him a racist because of it. Which the irony there is, of course. Yeah.
Fox News calls you a racist? That's like...
Yeah.
That's the Westboro Baptist Church calling you a homophobe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. That's like the Peace Corps saying you're too tolerant.
Like,
all right, man. Hang on. You gotta.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. Wyatt was off doing a correspondent piece when the original joke aired, and he watched it as a viewer on the episode that it aired, the original joke. And when he heard the joke, he was like, ooh, if I was in the writer's room, I would have told them not to say that. That's a little, he said, that's a little ignorant. And so he brought it, when Wyatt got back for another episode, Jon Stewart, they were pitching a thing in the writer's room where Jon had said, like, okay, I want to respond to this Fox News thing and do this whole, like, joke about that. And Wyatt said, hey, I actually thought the joke was it wasn't racist, I thought it was ignorant, I forget the exact wording. And Jon Stewart basically was like, you shut the fuck up. You don't talk to me like that. Go fuck yourself. Or not, whatever. No, it wasn't that. It was like, I'm fucking done with you, I think was the phrase he used. Which, like, crushed Wyatt on a number of levels. That's my boss. That's, like, my idol. That is this guy. And, like, and also probably, like, destroyed the image of this show I work at is, like, one of the greatest progressive things ever. I can't believe that that's happened. And from then on, like, I guess I think... There's a lot of I thinks on my part, so please don't take any of these as exact quotes. It was something along the lines of, like, Jon Stewart apologized later on, like, sorry I lost my temper, that had nothing to do with you, that was just the situation, sorry about that. But that was, but like, yeah, so, and then they kind of finished out their relationship on the show in the next couple of years is just, like, very businesslike, very, here are the jokes, here's this, here's that, that's it. So there was a lot of questions about, like, is Wyatt going to come back for the big finale thing along with all the other past correspondents? And he said he talked to Jon recently, and they had, like, or they basically, the day that he left, and then a few weeks ago, the two of them had conversations that Wyatt felt they really should have had years prior. Like, years before, like, when he started or when they had, like their big fight. It was, like, a good conversation, but it really was, like, oh, now I finally feel like we respect each other. When it's, like, it's
usually
sad
when
that
people say, sorry, when people say, here's something I should have said a long time ago, like, that kind of thing, like, oh, God, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but this was really, like, he felt like it's like the day that I was basically, the day I left was the day I felt like we respected each other. And it was like, that's kind of unfortunate for that kind of relationship.
It's cool that in comedy you could have that kind of beef that you could actually come back years later and squash it. But, like, in rap, like, somebody has to die.
Yeah.
Or somebody has to get ripped to shreds on fucking Twitter by every fast food chain. Jesus Christ.
No,
like,
man.
Nick Cole is getting destroyed by Denny's. Like, it's insane.
No, dude, Twitter, like I love how people are in these Twitter beefs, or supposedly like the whole Nicki Minaj, Taylor Swift thing, or Iggy Azalea versus any black rapper. Like, oh, and even Eminem too. Or just I don't know. Like, but that's beside the point. Like, people act like they have a personal stake if one side wins or the other loses. Like, you know, they're never gonna see you.
It does. They do, man. It's like, think about all the albums that you invested in Drake. Like all the iTunes songs you downloaded. If he loses this battle, those songs you downloaded loses value too. He's like, oh man.
Well, to be fair, if you had something,
now they're like.
Erwin brings up a good point that to some people, your iTunes library is like your stock portfolio, and you have to make sure that they have values that go.
Good. In that case,
Sure.
I hope Drake does lose. I'll get his songs cheaper. I'll get his songs cheaper. We can just get Spotify like a normal human being.
Dude, fucks.
Or just download it for free, like anybody.
Yeah, true.
Like a real human being. Oh, that's another thing that's... Dude, people are... The value of music is at zero, but I feel like now, thanks to platforms like Spotify and others, that music actually has a little bit of value now. It's like it's like a tenth of a penny per play, but it actually has some value. So I think that's a positive thing. I mean, I don't know.
You said music has no value. You sound like an inner city school, like that cancel all the programs.
Listen,
Learn a trade.
Morgan, you found out my secret. I am an inner city school, and I will continue.
New World Order right here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Illuminati.
Did you not know that?
What?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's check it.
What about Dave Chappelle?
What about Dave Chappelle?
He's stating that
I feel like you're just making shit up at this point.
No, I'm saying that they interviewed him and saying that celebrities have what you call it I'm lost for words, but
I think I wonder why. He said something like the greatest enemy of an artist is like apathy or something. Well, they have a responsibility to kind of speak out on issues.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing to learn here.
Hmm?
What is?
Comedians hate feminists.
Oh, jeez. Rob, is that Rob? Because I'm looking at the time. Is that because you have to go? You want to reiterate your point?
Yeah, I gotta sign out. So I'll see you guys.
All right, have fun. By the way, he bartends for the elderly. That's not a lie.
I work at a what's it called? What did I call it earlier?
A retirement home.
Yeah, I work at a country club, but it's really a retirement home
for feminists.
For liberals, old
but elderly,
that like their martini.
Elderly feminists who are not the same as Tumblr feminists. I think they have a different stand. Their idea of feminism is like when your husband doesn't follow through with his slap. I think
they all need to get slapped.
Well, that's
they're old feminists are the hardcore because they were there for like the Rosie the Riveter, Yes We Can shit. They were there for it.
Yes We Can shit.
They were in the factory.
You know all that real important shit. All that.
Yeah.
Or whatever
stuff that lets women vote and have some rights.
But yeah, it's like that 60-year-old black uncle that you have, and he's like, "That's not racism." Like, you want to see racism? Like, look at it in the history books. That's racism. I got hosed down by fire department.
Look at these bite marks.
Back in my day, hosed had a very different meaning. All right, we'll see you later.
Back in my day, we avoided whips and chains.
All right,
I love how they want to.
I'll see you guys.
All right, see you, Rob.
Bye-bye.
Dude, that's okay. That's
what rappers call them, dude.
I know. Well, listen, you're 20. When did I get my first rapper album? I would have probably been, I guess it was When Disaster Strikes by Busta Rhymes in 90, when was that, 97? 98 maybe? So 17 years ago. So you were 3. And I was listening to Dr. Dre say Skeet, and it took me about 10 more years before I knew what that was. I was singing that song at dinner all the time.
when I first heard skeet, I was thinking like the skeet shooting, like the actual
Yeah.
like it's like a clay disc that goes, and I was like, oh hey, they like to shoot with accuracy, they like guns and shit, and I was saying that, and they're like, nah dude, it means jizzing on somebody. I was like, oh wow, okay, still
I tried
one of
figuring
the
out.
same meaning, just in a different way.
Yeah.
I tried figuring out where the term beef comes from, and nobody seems to know.
I remember there was a brief period, I guess it was in West Side hip-hop. Erwin, you might be able to help me out with this, where they switched the meaning from cock from penis to vagina. And so there's a handful of songs you can find where people talk about, like, eating the cock or whatever.
No way.
Wait, when was this? I have to
Just
hear
like
So I wish
They-
I just, like,
they
knew
did
this. Yeah. Erwin?
they flipped the script like in the early '90s, like just so that so people will play it more on the radio.
you oh my god.
So they were
okay,
willing to put the word cock in if it meant the exact opposite of what it meant?
pretty much.
Well, because cock wasn't as like it's not as blatant as pussy or or certain things bitch and stuff like that. It's not as
Right.
strong. Like it's weird, man. Certain words are okay and stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I remember there was like one of the only Insane Clown Posse songs that I'm familiar with. When they would play the video, they changed the lyrics from being homicidal to suicidal. So it was like, instead of "I'm gonna chop off your head with an axe," it was like, "I'm going to kill myself with an axe." And I remember thinking, like, how is that better? Like,
Oh, it's the Insane Clown
No.
Posse. They killed themselves. It is better.
Yeah, no, because nobody cared. By the way, those
yeah, everybody
guys-
was rooting for that. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna kill yourself? I'll buy this album as like your last
Well,
right.
it's the same reason why the overly the PC police will criticize any comic that they don't particularly like, but then Louis gets a blind pass to say some crazy shit. And
Yeah,
they
yeah,
cover all
I
the fat
think-
jokes or Amy Schumer racist jokes. Louis, no, they don't care.
I think human beings
Yeah.
just like decide who they side with emotionally, and then cherry pick items to support that claim. You know what I mean? Like
think
you
it was-
decide.
Exactly, beef battle.
Yeah. See, I agree.
Like-
I
like
think
a
that that's
beat battle.
definitely the case. I think that's definitely the case that they do, like that they cherry pick their belief, like what they listen to based on the beliefs they already have.
You cherry pick evidence to support whatever you feel emotionally connected to.
But when it comes to Louis C.K., the fact that he has the opening bit from Chewed Up, the what is it, the F word, N word, C word bit, you
Yeah.
can't really avoid that. You also, if you find the 1.5-minute clip from Opie and Anthony where Patrice O'Neal and Louis C.K. are debating the origins of certain racial slurs, which have you guys ever heard that?
I've heard
I'm
I've
only-
heard about it. I never actually heard it, but I will.
I will link it to you at the end of this. It is super fucked up, but it'll have you on the floor laughing because it just goes to show how comedy can surpass no matter how fucked up what you say, what the context is.
Yeah.
It's like the fact if the joke is good enough, you're just like, fine, that's funny. I don't care if it's so fucked up. Like that's just too funny to not laugh at.
Yeah. My thing is with that where it's like you get. I wrote a thesis on this, and it's basically a theory. It's almost really a law if I like publish this, where
Yeah.
it's selective sensitivity. Like how people remember what they want to remember, hear what they want to hear, selective hearing, selective memory. You pick and choose what you get offended by. Like what
Sure.
like what Michael was saying, where it's like if you see a commercial for Carl's Jr. or fucking Checkers or whatever, and it's some supermodel, half naked rubbing fucking French fry grease on her titties and shit, and they say eat the new half bacon fucking jizz burger. I don't know. And then nobody gets offended by that. That's gonna get prime airtime. That's gonna be a commercial in between an episode of SpongeBob and some other Nickelodeon show. That's where it's gonna be. But say, for instance, if I get on TV and make a sex joke, or it's a "that's what she said" joke in front of like I don't know some girl and like let's say for instance the girl that got pissed off about the shirt.
Mhm.
And she'll get offended by that, but she'll go watch TV that has like stool softening commercials that show shit, but it's purple going through the, like they decolorize it so it's okay to show, even though you just watched a turd go out of an asshole. So people get selectively sensitive. They get offended by this, but not by this. It's offensive when it's over here. But when it's over here, we call it progress. We're pushing the envelope. We're doing all this crazy shit.
I think we need to decolorize the poop of society.
Yeah.
I think we need to soften the stool that we sit upon.
I think that people get offended of the blatantness, because I see a lot of kid stuff, not only because I have a kid, but because I like it, and a lot of stuff that is written for kids. A lot of stuff that is written for kids is over kids' heads, and these are meant for adults. These jokes are meant for adults.
Yeah.
If you see the Lego movie, it has a lot of adult content that little 4-year-olds shouldn't be knowing about. But
or stuff that's
like
philosophical or metaphoric to the point where even if it's not like X-rated humor, a little kid is not going to understand the whole "you are special" thing. This is just going to sound like generic advice that adults are going to give them after they fail a test or whatever, like that kind of stuff.
Erwin, Erwin, hold on. I wanted to just take this opportunity, because we're going to wrap up in about 5 or 10 minutes. I wanted to take this opportunity to once again plug. You mentioned you had a kid. I want to plug your GoFundMe page. So Erwin has.
You should go read the comments I'm getting in there.
Are you serious? Erwin has a GoFundMe page that we have been promoting heavily on the Eric Tries Hard Podcast Network to pay his child support. So. And our comics have been donating. We haven't made it official yet, but we've had a couple of comics donating some rewards, including Rob, who left. If you notice, he had a blank wall. That he does this podcast every few weeks. We're donating ad space in poster form on his wall. I don't know what I'm going to donate yet. Maybe some used baby toys. Even though Erwin's kid is what? How old is your kid?
4.
All right, yeah, I can donate some used infant toys for it, for that drive.
I got some
but anyway.
plush toys I was about to give to the Salvation Army, but I can
Anyway, so any good comments that you're receiving on there?
Oh, you should go read them, man. I got a hate mail from her.
Yeah, I'll read them in private, not on a public forum for entertainment purposes.
No, right. I'm just getting like, oh, what a loser. Get a job. He's a pothead. You want
Love it.
It's like they don't understand the joke within the joke, but it's cool. Like sometimes. Once I die, you'll hear my real life story and the real things about the purpose of things. But it's mostly her family that's like coming in hard.
Oh, it's her family. By the way, who is her? Who is her in this scenario?
Like, it's my baby mama. Like her family is like her family they got a hold of the GoFundMe and they're ripping me shreds with like.
They're big fans of this podcast, and so also, by the way, this is how I should just put on just as a demonstration for how bad comedians are at tagging and putting their shit correctly classified online. Just about every comic that I have, if you look them up on Google or YouTube, like you, Erwin, I just looked up for your GoFundMe page. You have a Twitter, you've got all your own shit online, you've got YouTube stuff, you got this GoFundMe. If I put your name in on Google, the first 7 things that pop up are links to my websites. So you gotta start tagging your shit with your own. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. But just as a point, there's a lot of comics who great comics that I've had on who, if you go on YouTube and you look up just their name and comedy, the podcast of mine that they did comes up before any of theirs, and their stuff will have thousands more views than mine. You gotta just tag your shit. It makes it so much easier for people to find it. Anyway, so yeah, GoFundMe and all right. So sweet. I wanted to. I wanted to know Mike and Morgan. Do you guys know each other?
I don't think
I don't
so.
know if Mike is awake.
Yeah, I'm awake.
This is a
No,
classic.
I don't think I've met you. No, I don't know.
Why are we both in Baltimore?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Or
You think- well,
What's your last name? I can't see your face. I only see the icon, so I can't tell.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah. I see the
Uh,
word Eric, and I see two blue men's bathroom symbols.
Well, shit.
mhm.
Yeah, it's probably a fun thing.
Wh-
Anyway,
What's your last name, Morgan?
Well, it's Julian. It's Morgan Julian.
Maureen, do you ever do the sidebar open mic?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, because I knew you were mentioning that with the interview with Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
Mike's
go,
amazing.
Do you go every once in a while? Because I might be going this month. I honestly.
I go almost every week.
I might have seen you, or you might have seen me before. I don't know. All I know is.
Leave it up to a comedian not to know where they're gonna go and shit.
Oh God! Like I swear to God, there was some. I don't mean to like put anybody on blast. I'm not going to use names or whatever. But like, quick, can I just do like a quick last story before we go?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so what happened was I was at the sidebar open mic, and I went in there. I saw you guys familiar with Mark Joyner.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dark Mark as he calls himself. So I went up there, I signed in. He's like, okay, Morgan, you're going to be 6. They pushed me down a little bit, but it's a sidebar. So just the fact that you can go in the top 10 is like, that's awesome right there. So I went up, I did some jokes, and I went up right after this one girl. Good God, she bombed so hard, it was bad. But it was only 4 minutes. 4 minutes versus 8 minutes at Zissimo's. Which is so I went up there, I did some jokes, I killed it. 4 minutes, it was great. She had 4 minutes, she sucked, but it was over quickly before I could say, boy, this is tat. And then Morgan Julian. So I went up there and killed it, destroyed it. Went off, I shook hands, congratulated people. People said, hey, that was a good set. I networked a little bit. That's how I heard about this podcast right here. And then here we are. Then Thursday, I was scheduled like a month in advance to perform in Zissimo's. And I had 8 minutes, so I go up there. Parking's a bitch over there. I'm just next time I'm just gonna get like an Uber and save gas.
A Uber?
No,
you
you
can
can
call
fight.
Mike.
You can, but there's plenty of there. I can tell you where the parking is.
Okay, because that's the case.
Go
I
ahead.
parked. And it was on a Thursday too, so I'm like, Jesus, imagine if it was a weekend. So anyway, I go there and I go up and ask. First thing I always do is ask what am I going up? Not to be a pain, just to know, because there's nothing worse.
Yeah,
than,
me
like,
too.
Being called up. I just like to know, when I'm going up. I say,
Yeah.
hey, am I going up early? Am I going up late? Am I going in the middle? Or if you can't give me a specific number, so I said, when am I going up? They said, you're going up 4th. I was like, okay, good. Not too early, not too late. Great. That's perfect. So they call up the 4th person to perform. It's not me. And I was like, okay, what's up with that? Sometimes people got to leave early, or some people, just sometimes people come in early. And I was like, well, hey, I'll tell you what. Somebody had to leave early. They want to perform early. We put you down at 5th. I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I go up there, and then they're like, dude, what are you doing? I was like, you said I'm going up 5th, right? And they were about to announce me. I was getting ready to go up. I didn't actually go up on the stage. So after that, he says, dude, I'm sorry, we had to push you down like 2 more. And I'm just like, okay, that's whatever. I kind of, sure, whatever. I wasn't angry. I was like, hey, I can drink a soda pop since I'm not old enough to fucking drink yet. And then
We'll go to an open mic together. You'll come to my car. It'll be fine.
yeah, that's cool. Open container. No.
That's okay to say. That's okay to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Erwin smoked a joint on screen earlier. God damn it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah. You got him. That's some digital loud right there.
Yeah, dude, he usually speaks literally loud. Usually, whenever he pops up like late, as usual, you won't see him on the screen. But then you just hear the loudest bong rip of your life, and then
you
he'll
just
pop
like
up.
see a puff of smoke where his face
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah, which
So
one
anyway,
you
I go up
see
there.
now.
I go up there. No. So anyway,
Okay,
meanwhile,
talking of. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Morgan.
I just want to finish the story while it's still fresh in my head. So I go up there, and it turns out they pushed me back down to 2nd to last. And at this time, I'm not like pissed, but I'm just like, my head's not even in my own material where I'm like, I want to make people laugh. I'm just like, I just want to get this shit over with and just fucking leave. Because I was just like, all right, whatever. And guess who goes up before me? That same girl who bombed for 4 minutes straight. Only now it's like 8 minutes. She did the opposite of kill. I think some people in the audience were dead. She scared away half the people that were sitting there. And you ever see the Harry Potter movies with the Dementors where they suck the soul and the fucking life out of anything? That's what she did to the room. To the point where it got so awkwardly quiet, you could hear the karaoke downstairs. And it wasn't even that
How long Morgan.
Yeah.
Morgan.
Yeah.
How long have you been performing?
About like 2 years now.
How long have you been performing? How long have you been doing comedy?
2 years.
2 weeks?
No, 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
2 years.
What is the fuck Morgan podcast? What is happening? Morgan, how long have you been in stand-up?
2 years.
How long have you been performing the art of stand-up comedian?
No, I mean because I ran a show and I've had
2 months. Hold on, right? This
2 years.
Is insane that you asked him that question 8 different times. Let's have him finish the story because I gotta go soon, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay, all right. So anyway, I go up there and I did good material. They laughed at some of the stuff I said, like all 5 people in the audience, because she scared them the fuck away. And I'm just sitting there like, I went up to the host and asked, like, I don't know you, and I hope you don't know me, but whatever I did to like piss you off like that, can I like make it up to you somehow? What would make a person want to do that to another person unprovoked? Like, cause no, but the thing that got me was it was that same girl from last time.
Yeah, she's just like following you around.
Yeah, I'm almost afraid to do another one because if I see her again, I'm just gonna be like, no, I'm out. Because like they're gonna put me after her.
Yeah. Dude, that's nuts. Did you get a response for why that happened to you, or were they just like, you know how it is, man?
He just laughed in my face. He just laughed. I was like, okay, now that's creepy, because like, he said something like, oh, hey, man, I this is the way it goes, or, well, she had to go. Yeah. I would have been like, yeah, right, bullshit. You just fucking out.
But at least it gave you that. Like, you don't
even
deserve
I have a reason for that. It's like usually you try to put a weaker comedian after, and then you put a stronger comedian to keep that pace up, though. So
yeah, but you got bumped down over and over again.
Like, yeah, that's what I was saying. And it wasn't like I'm the new, and I wasn't the new guy. Like I've been there like 3 times before. Like I try to go everywhere I can. It's just, like I said, I don't go to one place constantly, but I try to go.
But they know that you'll pick it. I'll take it as a compliment. They know that you're gonna be able to pick it up after her, though.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I didn't pick it up, but it was hard.
Yeah. All right, so let's wrap up. I'm gonna get plugs from everybody. We'll go Morgan first, then Mike, and then Erwin. Give me your plugs, and I'm gonna post this later tonight.
Okay, I'm first.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Morgan Julian, you can catch me on Twitter, Genius Morgan J, Snapchat, and Instagram, Genius Morgan J, Facebook, Morgan Julian, and you can catch me doing comedy at the Sidebar on Mondays.
Nice. And you can see an interview with our very own Brad Hartland with Morgan on erictriestoohard.com. Shirtless, sleepy Mike.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. You can find me on Twitter at Shirtless Sleepy Mike. No. At Mike Moran Wood, WOULD. And we got a big episode of the Digression Sessions.
Okay, sorry.
We got a big episode of the Digression Sessions podcast this week. We got comedian and actor David Koechner on from Anchorman and whatnot. So check that out.
Todd Packer in the flesh. All right, Erwin, plugs.
I just want to do a little montage on Jon Stewart. Like, have you ever seen a $20 bill, man, on weed? Like, what's the man doing there, man? Like, I don't know. Is he trying to boo, man? I don't know. Like, he's the first one to top me about the Illuminati.
That's a beautiful moment of zen you just gave us, by the way. Erwin in the smoked-out room doing Jon Stewart from Half Baked.
Oh my god.
Hey, man.
Where are you performing? I gotta go get groceries, change a goddamn diaper, and then go on with my Sunday chores.
Just Google me. Just Google me, man. Just Google me. You'll find
Google
shit out.
Erwin Portillo, and you'll find my podcast. And if you keep scrolling down, maybe page 2 or 3, you'll get to his stuff. Where are you on Twitter? EJFlows25?
There you go.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
one last thing. Sorry, genius is spelled with a J instead of a G. That's a crucial thing.
Sweet. So,
So it's genius.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Don't disingenuous. All right, that was horrible, and that's the only way I know how to go out. So thank you guys so much for coming on, and I'll catch you all soon. Peace.
Change those diapers.